They thought breaking you would finish you. They thought disappearing would destroy you. They thought silence meant defeat. But what they never understood is that some people don't die when they're abandoned. They reform. They harden. They sharpen. You aren't walking back into the world as the same person who got hurt. You're walking back as the version they prayed would never show up. The version built in the dark. The version forged in pain. The version that doesn't apologize, doesn't explain, doesn't chase, and doesn't break. This comeback isn't about proving anything. It's about becoming something they can't understand anymore. Something colder, something stronger, something dangerous. Pause here, breathe slow, feel that shift in your chest. That's the part of you they tried to kill, waking up again. That's the part of you they underestimated. You learned something in the silence they left you in. Nothing is more terrifying than someone who rebuilds themselves alone, because the moment you stop needing anyone, you become untouchable. They thought you were gone, but you were only loading. Your comeback starts with one truth. You didn't lose everything. You lost everyone who wasn't meant to stay. And now you're using every scar they gave you as fuel. Every night you spent alone as training. Every betrayal as a blueprint. They thought the damage they caused would weaken you, but all it did was strip away your hesitation, your softness, your patience. You're not returning with the same heart they broke. That heart is gone. What's beating in your chest now is something colder, something that doesn't fear loss anymore, because it already survived the worst version of it. You learned to move differently, think differently. You learned that quiet isn't weakness. Quiet is preparation. You learned that pain isn't punishment. Pain is the forge. Every time they doubted you, every time they walked away, every time they treated you like you were replaceable, you were evolving, slow, quiet, invisible to them, but perfectly clear to the version of you that was waiting to be released. They won't recognize who's coming back, and that's the point. Your return isn't about revenge. It's about correction. It's about restoring the balance. It's about becoming everything they said you couldn't become, everything they didn't want you to discover. You're not coming back to prove you were worthy. You're coming back because you finally learned you didn't need their approval, their loyalty, or their presence. You needed one thing, distance. And that distance gave you clarity. It gave you discipline. It gave you hunger. You started moving different. You stopped explaining your silence. You stopped defending your heart. You started focusing on the things that matter, the grind, the discipline, the craft, the transformation. People talk about comebacks like they're miracles. They're not. Comebacks are built in the dark. They're built when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one is texting you checking in. Comebacks are built by people who refuse to stay down, even when they have to crawl through their own pain to rise again. And that's what makes you dangerous now. You didn't just survive what broke you. You studied it. You dissected it. You absorbed it. And now you're using every lesson as ammunition. They didn't just create distance. They created your evolution. Listen closely. The silence you walked through wasn't empty. It was teaching you. The loneliness wasn't punishment. It was refinement. Every time you thought you were losing, you were actually shedding the weight that kept you slow. You were shedding attachments, expectations, weak habits, weak mindsets, weak company. And when all the noise disappeared, all that was left was the real you. The version that doesn't flinch anymore. The version that doesn't break down. The version that doesn't beg people to stay. Your comeback terrifies them because it forces them to see the truth. They weren't the reason you survived. You were. They weren't the foundation of your strength. You were. They weren't the ones who shaped your future. You are. And now that you've returned to the battlefield with a colder focus, a sharper mind, and a heart fortified by everything it's been through, they realize something they never wanted to admit. Hurting you was the worst mistake they ever made. You don't need to announce your comeback. You don't need to post about it. You don't need to warn them. Your actions will speak. Your glow-up will speak. Your discipline will speak. Your silence will speak. And when they see the new version of you, the version built from pain, not permission, it will hit them harder than any words ever could. You're not returning for them. You're returning for the person you were always meant to become. Look at yourself now. Look at the resilience in your breath. Look at the steel in your posture. Look at the vision forming behind your eyes. This is the comeback that doesn't ask for validation. This is the comeback that doesn't chase apologies. This is the comeback that doesn't wait for closure. You don't need closure when you've closed the door yourself. You don't need payback when your success becomes the echo they can't escape. You don't need their recognition when you finally recognize your own power. This is your moment to stop living for people who would never bleed for you. This is your moment to reclaim every piece of yourself you gave away. This is your moment to rise without noise, without permission, without hesitation. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them pretend they didn't notice your transformation. Deep down, they know what's happening. Deep down, they feel it. Deep down, they fear it. Because nothing is more terrifying than someone making a comeback with no softness left to break. Your return isn't loud. It's lethal. It's controlled. It's intentional. You're not walking back into life the way you left it. You're stepping in with the weight of every lesson, every scar, every sleepless night behind you. That's what makes you unstoppable now. You don't fear losing people. You fear wasting time. You don't chase validation. You chase evolution. You don't want revenge. You want results. They thought breaking you was the ending, but it was the origin story. Now breathe slowly. Feel that pressure in your chest. That's your power waking up. That's the comeback version of you stepping forward. Move with purpose now. Move with discipline. Move with cold clarity. You're not returning to fit in. You're returning to dominate. You're not returning for acceptance. You're returning for ascension. The old you fought for people. The new you fights for your future. And when they see you rise, when they see what you've built, when they realize they are no longer part of the story they helped create, they will feel it. The fear, the regret, the weight of letting the wrong person walk away. Let them feel it. Your comeback isn't just personal. Your comeback is a warning.